2 North American giants enter, but only one can remain. Turtle, EnVy versus G2,
yes,
and
sir.
this is it. You got no more lives left. It has to be nothing but wins out from here.
Oh, yeah. The pressure is on an elimination matchup between 2 North American teams. It's sad to see one of them go home, but at the end of the day, they didn't perform the best in their previous matches. You cannot sit here, Jorby, and say that they look like they're playing themselves here for both teams. G2 Esports, it's been rough. It's been shaky. Same with EnVy. Although they won their first series, it's been rough ever since. We're going to see who actually has that firepower and is ready to prove it on the field.
Yeah, G2 went through the gauntlet of these newer regions. First, they had to play Sandrock, which, well, they have the number 3 seed going into top 8. Furia as well, who looked stellar early on in this tournament. And then Tokyo Verdy, which G2 eliminated. And that might be the start of the turnaround for them. But for EnVy, the story has been difficult for them as well.
It's been a lot of heartbreaks for EnVy. I mean, losing to Complexity in game number 5. Turbo Pulsa, of course, talking a lot of smack on Twitter, which seemed like banter at first. Then he ended it with something a little bit more hostile. Here's Mist with the first goal. I think it was from the midfield. What happened here?
Yeah, Mist coming up for this, and it just looks like Chicago was just a little slow to that one. Wait, took a wide angle to that.
Did you see him stutter a little bit with that rotation? He's coming back. It looks like
trying not to own goal?
I don't know. If he just cut in earlier, it looked like he had the angle to get the clear out. I'm not sure if he even knew the goal was creeping up on him, but that one surely should have been avoided.
Would have loved to see it from his point of view, just to really know how exactly JNAPS was looking at that one. But either way, EnVy taking a good start for them. And one goal could be all the difference to swing momentum in your favor. While EnVy, it's been difficult for them up to this point. The devs talked about Turbo's tweet. They got to switch the mentality somehow and find a way to stabilize.
And the nerves have got to be fixed at this point, not only from Turbo Pulsa, but also from Chicago. I mean, the veterans on each team. You've also got JNAPS, who actually has more experience than Chicago. We're talking about LAN experience. So there's got to be some improvement here from both teams. Chicago, the demo on Turbo Pulse, some space is going to be opened up, and an early shot from the midfield off the crossbar, the follow-up. Even another touch after the left post bounce, and they still don't get it in.
A good 50 from Mist, but that's a good step from JNAPS to Chicago. It's just a little high off the crossbar again, so the early shots from G2 a little off target. They're going to have to try again.
And that's something that drains your energy, Jorby. I mean, you put on a lot of pressure, especially at LAN as a player. You get some nice shots, and you work so hard just to see it go off the crossbar. Even another touch, you don't get the goal. It's depleting. You have to stay hungry and keep that stamina up.
Oh, JNAPS, nice pass in front, and Turbo Pulsa gets there quickly. Chicago pops that one up high into the corner, and Turbo can put it back down for EnVy. EnVy, during the season, had so many great defensive stands against the best that North America had to offer. They can hold this 1-goal lead for as long as possible.
And this is a very comfortable matchup for EnVy and G2. They're used to playing against each other. The devs talked about it. They went the longest game of Rocket League we've ever seen was that best of 7 set. I mean, it was ridiculous, or best of 3 set of best of 7s, excuse me. And that went all 21 games. They're used to playing against each other, and that's an understatement.
Well, EnVy still in their own half. G2 looking for a way in. Another 50 will keep them locked in the blue half for now. Midfield, all important to hold, and EnVy break through. Turbo, full boost in the corner. G2 not giving EnVy any good looks yet at the net. EnVy will keep things locked in, still holding that 1-goal lead. G2 still playing in this left corner.
EnVy are happy to play this style, and you got Mist in the backfield, who even talked about it during his interview. He brings the defensive side to this team. This is why they picked him up. And then you let Atomic and Turbo Pulsa run the midfield, open up some shots. Maybe Mist can come in as that third man. But for the most part, we're going to be seeing them do this. Atomic in the corner, Turbo Pulsa in the midfield. They're going to set something up, and hopefully the defense can at least withstand that G2 offense.
G2 were able to, release that pressure gauge a little bit. But they're still playing in their own half. Dree's going to keep this one close. Goes underneath on the 50.
And the 50.
JNAPS got the shot. It's too high. Chicago's there. Shot is good. G2 tie it up.
And at first I was about to roast their accuracy. It seemed to be a little bit off, but I think this shot here from JNAPS was planned to be high. He didn't even flip into it. He wanted to set up Chicago to have the easier shot. A beautiful play from G2 involving everybody, and that's how you tie it up in the first game.
Love seeing those sets from Drees where, there's so many different options you could take.
He's been so good.
Absolutely. For me, he's been the best performing player on G2 this week so far.
which is very surprising. Everybody likes to roast Dries. Everybody likes to talk
I don't know if many people are roasting him anymore, though.
Absolutely not. I'm not seeing anything. It's pretty quiet so far for the newcomer Dries. He has surpassed our expectations, and he just keeps going.
And the set here for EnVy with Turbo in front. He'll take the boost for his efforts and keep the rotation churning for EnVy. Turbo coming across again, but G2 are there to stop the shot. Next up is Atomic, the X Factor for EnVy. Got the 50 in front of the box, but there's just not an angle for Turbo to take. He'll happily take that boost as EnVy continue to whittle down this G2 defense.
Look at that dribble from Mist. He's not only wasting time, but also trying to get that flick forward for his teammates to rotate back and potentially get back on offense. Then the follow-up from Turbo Pulsa. You can see Chicago getting a little bit frustrated, shaking his head as that one falls in.
Yeah, that one going right over JNABs in Chicago. Just that little touch right there. It's gonna be those little things, Turtle, that will be the difference in this matchup.
And you see how fast Turbo Pulsa was to get that read. He knew exactly that, or what Chicago wanted to do in that situation, which was take it slow, go for the dribble on the ground. Turbo Pulsa, the veteran, so much respect. He didn't look too good, to be honest with you, until this series. This is the best we've seen.
That's a good touch from Turbo as well. Missed picking this one up, but cut off by Dries. Atomic gets the win in the corner. G2. And they put together any kind of offense here at the end of regulation. EnVy have midfield locked down, keeping that ball high and away, forcing G2 to use all of that boost. Ball will touch the ground and EnVy take game one.
I'm a bit shocked. I think going into this series, I had Chicago alongside G2 as the favorites, and we did not see anything special out of G2 Esports. Very uncharacteristic defensive mistakes. That slow touch from Chicago was such an easy read for Turbo Pulsa. And then this one from JNABs. What is happening in that situation? It's almost like he faked himself. He was going in for the clear, thought he couldn't get the touch, and maybe assumed he had more time, but it just slipped in.
I think he thought he was going to own goal if he cut in on that. It was difficult to tell from where he was going because he didn't have a lot of speed, so he couldn't get around the ball fast enough. And the last thing you want to do is give EnVy a free goal.
Right.
So it's like between a rock and a hard place for JNABs. What do you do? But EnVy took full advantage.
And it's nice to see them have some composure on stage. We've been waiting the entire tournament to see EnVy look themselves with this defensive playstyle. It has been back and forth for them, not really sure how to note what they're doing, and you see Turbo Pulsa having a lot of shakiness and nerves that we even saw on the online play. So for him to come out here, take the first game against G2, when their lives are on the line, their tournament lives are on the line, we need to reiterate that. One of these North American teams is going home. It's the first land in 2 years. You don't want it to be you.
And G2 would love to start Forbidden Temple off a lot stronger. Chicago popping this one up in the corner. But EnVy's midfield game on Manfield Turtle was so strong. G2 had so many issues breaking out of the long stints in the orange half. But G2 start off strong here. JNABs up top. JNABs on the bottom. Can't put it on target.
Oh, and Dries, it's a slower rotation. I like what he's doing. Takes the boost, but then doesn't do anything of it. Just gives it right away to Turbo Pulsa. Nothing fancy or flashy from G2, but they're moving down very nicely, back and forth with some bigger clears. And what we're going to expect here in Game 2 is something more of G2. We need to see some firepower, something like that with that pass quickly out to JNABs. Maybe Dries can come in for the follow-up, anything to spice it up.
Pop for EnVy, and all of G2 waiting for missed touch. Atomic stuffs that one, and G2 are still having a wait. Atomic, perfect control to go down, even on his way out on deletion. Dries stops Turbo there, and G2 might break out here, but there's Atomic to lock down midfield. And G2 struggling to break out. Dries will try again. He's got space. Lets it drop underneath over Turbo. Chicago gets around it. Can he swing quickly? Only one in net. Atomic swings across. That shot is good. Excellence from G2.
And the duo is coming alive here for G2 Chicago. The pass out into the midfield. It was actually reversed coming into this tournament. Chicago normally scores the most goals per game from North America, and JNABs is assisting him, but it gets reversed. JNABs on the offensive strike, finds the accuracy, and G2 score first.
And you saw Atomic. He thought that play was going way differently. He thought JNABs was going to play it hard around the corner, but that soft touch right out to his teammate really tripped up EnVy. And Dries gets another touch over Turbo. Here's JNABs. He overshot it and missed. Gonna find Atomic? No one can get there. Chicago will cut it off.
Now let's see what EnVy have as a response to that G2 passing play. They're stuck on defense yet again. Atomic, a nice little touch there. Maybe something off the sidewall, looking to keep possession. EnVy seemed to be bunched up, not too spread out. TurboPulsa was cheating up a bit. Now he can't get the challenge. It's out to JNAps. And this all started with TurboPulsa, his hesitation in the backfield. He was right behind Miz and then got the boost as a result, was super late in the rotation and couldn't find a challenge.
He did take a weird approach to that. He gave the opportunity for the pass to come out. And G2 took, again, full advantage of it. I love that from G2, though. They are making smart decisions when EnVy are giving them the little bit of space that they've had.
Well, and they can recognize, too, that there is space in the midfield. That's something very hard to do, especially on this LAN stage. We're going to keep mentioning it. You're going to usually go to bad habits. Atomic, he's got a bad habit of scoring nonstop on offense.
This is a great move from Atomic. Chicago, he thought that shot was, or he thought that hit was coming a little earlier, and then that little tap, JNAps thought a hard shot was coming. Atomic goes underneath. Good stuff from Atomic.
Oh man, this is crazy. You love seeing Atomic start to pop off a little bit more on the offensive side. Maybe that'll fuel his confidence. He can do some crazy things in the goal line, finding those saves that we saw throughout the regional events. Maybe something here, again, from EnVy. They look to mount something on offense, but it's quickly turned around by Chicago.
And you may have heard screams on the stream. That is because BDS are up 2-0 against Endpoint. And they may find a sweep against the #1 seed in Europe.
Are BDS back?
They might be, but meanwhile, in our North American matchup, EnVy are trying to find this tying goal. Missed shaking off one defender for Turbo, but there's JNAps again. And G2's defense has been so good in the corners, and they keep breaking out beyond midfield.
And what I've noticed, especially from Drees, has been patience. They will be in the corners and then take a smaller first touch. It's kind of like what Chicago was intending to do initially in Game 1. That actually went the wrong way, and then Turbo had the read. But so far, the patience has been paying off. They're able to keep possession for a longer amount of time, and let their teammates grab some boost pads. JNAps, he's going to grab boost in the midfield and maybe get something here on offense. Has the pre-flip, the double tap off the backboard. It was a fake, and it worked out for Chicago.
He leaves that one for his teammate, and EnVy are stunned off of it. But look at this approach, that initial touch from JNAps, and he gets that one on top. Atomic was going for the read, and the touch never came.
Atomic had full confidence that he was going to get the double tap shot on net, and that is pretty routine for Atomic. We see him get those pre-jump saves all the time. But that's going to get thrown out the window. What a save, JNAps. How did you find that off the crossbar?
That was a full stretch from JNAps across the net. How did he come up with that?
Oh, man.
Oh, Turbo, great pass to miss, but he backed it off the crossbar.
The best defender in the game, the crossbar. He has arrived. He's there on the field.
Big clear for G2. Also, slight correction. BDS are up 2-1 against Endpoint. Now, meanwhile, back on Forbidden Temple. Turbo cut off by JNAps. Chicago might have a breakout. Chicago drilling this one forward, and he pulls Mist out of the stadium. Atomic, that touch gets away, but he punches Drees out of the rotation.
Look at all that space from JNAps. And he recognizes it. G2, another midfield pass. This is the last thing you want to do, Jorby, is give G2 some space in that midfield, because they know exactly how to thread it and thread that needle in between each other.
It was a good steal from Chicago, looking to weave around and almost create an opportunity, but none of G2 were confident in where exactly that ball was going to end up. They're happy to keep this one locked in the blue corner. Here's Drees around, able to bump Atomic off the ball, and it gives Chicago that little bit of space. EnVy just disjointed on this rotation.
It's so weird. I don't know why they're giving up all this space to Chicago and the likes of G2, but maybe something will change. It could be a boost-related problem. If you're not getting your own corner boost, you have to back off, because there's no point in going for that challenge. You can't even get a touch. Here's Atomic on offense. A double tap. Doesn't find it, and it's going back towards the EnVy half.
Drees keeping that one close. Mist actually gets the read out. Atomic pushes it back downfield, but EnVy need a goal with some time left here in Forbidden Temple. Mist has a shot, and no, Drees will punch it out to the corner. G2 will tie up the series.
And that is a painful loss for EnVy. While they're giving a lot of space out, maybe another one there I thought for G2. They're giving a lot of space to G2. We talked about it all game long. But the shots were not accurate as well, hitting the crossbar several times. And there were opportunities for EnVy. It wasn't a perfect defensive game by G2 by any means, but still, you need to expect something a little bit more out of it.
I thought G2 were so good on offense, though. I mean, we're going to see the passes in the blue half, but also near the end there, you saw Chicago stealing the boost away, getting bumps as well, forcing Atomic off of the ball, and EnVy just were never able to find each other on the pitch. It was that classic G2 attack on offense. Well, JNAps has looked pretty good so far. He's gotten a couple of great passes out to his teammates, but all of G2 looked strong on Forbidden Temple. And EnVy, it was a tough game one for them to win, but they were able to handle it. Now, how can they respond?
They just got to stop giving up so much extra leg room. to G2. It's like they're literally sitting in first class with all that extra space. They're relaxed, and they're having a pretty dang good time there on the field.
Chicago pushes this one back downfield. EnVy, all they can do is clear it away, and there's space in midfield for Drees. He gets the 50 out. Chicago, that's going to be a tough angle to get. Atomic over top of him.
Ooh, good speed. Maybe opens up something, but another challenge from Drees. Defense rock solid for G2.
Chicago off the ceiling, underneath, and the shot, just wide of the post, and the follow-up is off the crossbar. Atomic's right there to punch it out. G2, Chicago trying to find where it's going to go, but Atomic kicks it back to midfield, and Drees gets over it, back over to Jane. Half Atomic racing back, has the save.
Goal line saves left and right for Team EnVy as G2 keep trying to go for this midfield pass route. It's worked so far, and then another one off the corner and down. A perfect bounce for JNAPS.
Atomic tried to get back to this ball, but couldn't find the touch. Drees slips underneath, and that's a great 50 against Mist.
So
Turbo
good.
could not make up for it, and G2 punish.
And you don't want to blame Turbo too much for that. It's got to be on whoever was behind the ball going for the 50 with Drees. You need to have some better challenge, some better perspective there going in. And instead, he just got absolutely bulldozed, and the 50-50 went G2's way.
G2 waiting for this pass from EnVy, and Chicago gets the first save. Drees quickly back up to that rebound. The rest of EnVy saw that and didn't even commit for it. Now Mist takes the pass. Chicago has the save. G2 handling the EnVy attack, but EnVy still pushing forward. Mist shot wide. Atomic tries to get there, setting it up, and Turbo's got to stay back. Mist so close that Atomic couldn't deliver.
That has been the story so far in the past 2 games for EnVy. They do so much work to get in front of the net, but right when they get that opportunity, they miss. The execution not looking solid for EnVy. And G2, it doesn't matter how good their defense looks. Even 1 or 2 opportunities is going to get given to EnVy, and they can't capitalize.
Atomic trying to push that ball by G2. Turbo knows he's got to try to keep control. He does get the 50 that allows Mist to come in. Now, how can EnVy create an opportunity out of this? Atomic comes in close, and G2 combine their powers for a clear, but they weren't able to get it. Turbo in the corner, pass in front to Atomic, denied by Chicago. And a slow but steady rotation for EnVy. They actually get blown right through Chicago on the breakaway. Turbo tries to get back and barely in time.
Look at that clear, too, all the way to the other side. Things were looking really comfortable for EnVy. A lot of shots, a lot of opportunities. And while I have been critiquing their accuracy, another one for Mist, eventually something will fall out of this G2 defense, or at least I would assume, because EnVy, they're taking the boost, they're having solid rotations, they're quicker to the challenges, they're not giving up the space. It's getting picked up in a lot of departments here. But at the end of the day, you're still down by 1 goal, only 2 minutes left.
Atomic gonna push that ball over to Mist, a high ball downfield, and Drees pushes it over to Chicago. G2 not making it easy on EnVy, and they're forced back the whole way to their own back wall. Drees underneath it, and Mist can push it back out to the corner, but Chicago closes it down, and G2 stealing the boost. Atomic trying to flip it over JNAPS. He's successful, and now he's got space, but the touch gets away from him. And Atomic over in the corner. He won the 50. Pass in front, denied again by G2. Mist cuts it out, but G2 progressed forward. Here in front, Drees the shot. Mist has to save off the crossbar, and Atomic comes in for the follow-up, but G2 have the ball. Turbo tries to push it over to the corner. EnVy creeping G2 out of insurance territory. Mist pops this one up, and the chaotic progression here in front of EnVy's net. Still, it's going to continue. Mist back over to the corner.
Oh, my. Mist is literally the only reason we're within 1 right now for Team EnVy. He was stuck on defense, last man back. The shot from G2 was fantastic, but somehow Mist found the read, got the prediction, and keeps them alive. There's under a minute left. They need just one goal to tie things up.
High touch from Mist. Drees is there again. Big demo from Mist. He gets the boost as well. Forces the defense to stay away. Can he make a good touch out to Turbo? He can, but Chicago is right there to get the big clear. And it's a breakaway. It's open. Drees can't put it on target. Oh, it goes the other way. A roller into the net. EnVy tie.
EnVy have been waiting for this all game long, and it's going to be 1 shot from their own end. Mist, of course, the star player on the field. Turbo Pulsa, he's trailing the ball, but there's nothing else needed of them. They caught G2 way too aggressive, way too out of position, and it's all tied up.
Game 3 coming down to the wire. Atomic, quick out to Turbo Pulsa. Over, does he have the read? He almost got that touch. He did have the read, just couldn't make contact. Chicago and JNAPS able to force the ball back to the blue corner.
This is getting very tense for both teams. All tied up, 10 seconds left. Maybe a dribble from Dries could lead something. Out back again to Dries, but the recovery wasn't there on time. There was a demo on the field. That means the G2 offense is going to be that much weaker, and we go into OT.
This one to take it to match point. Both teams fighting for their tournament lives. Mist cuts it off in midfield. EnVy looking a lot stronger on the rotation. Atomic, light touch. Mist gets in front of it, but JNAPS is all over it.
The reads from G2, it seems like every time EnVy want to get creative, it could lead to something, but G2 have the read. And they're back on defense. You can feel, though, Jorby.
Turbo!
Things have shifted off the post. It doesn't go in. EnVy, they are so close multiple times, but they just can't break it.
Turbo gets a big clear. Chicago almost found that touch. JNAPS trying to keep that ball away from Mist, but now Atomic's got a little bit of space. JNAPS to contend with. Got the 50 over to Turbo. Turbo slowing it down. Back over to Mist. Mist hard shot denied by Chicago. JNAPS quickly follows it up. G2 counterattack stopped by Atomic. Mist back to Atomic. Up high, too high, and Dries gets the clear.
Such good looking passes back and forth in the midfield. EnVy, they have been warmed up. They're ready to go. We are waiting. Just waiting on the execution. That's all it is here, Jorby.
Turbo falling back down on it, but Chicago wins another 50. Mist. He had to line that one up against JNAPS, but now Dries punches it back to the blue half. Atomic with control. It's a little bit of space to look this one down the field, and Chicago's up quickly to do it. G2 got full tanks.
Yeah.
They're expending it here to move down to the blue half. Mist misses the ball. Big demo, and JNAPS scores!
Mist had so much to do with the fact that EnVy kept themselves in this game, but in the dire moment, off the backboard, doesn't get the read, and it's left wide open for G2. That one stings so bad, Jorby.
A big opportunity for G2 and a big demo in front of the box as well. What a fight in that overtime.
And it was Mist the whole time. It was literally just him the whole game. I don't want to just discredit everybody else, but he was playing phenomenally. He got every single read. It felt like the pre-jump and the prediction earlier on to stop out G2's counterattack. And then just that one moment, that's all it took for G2 to take it.
And there were a couple of tries for EnVy too. You think back to the couple of chances, the passes between Mist and Atomic, where Mist hit the post and it bounced out, and Atomic couldn't wrap around to convert. And those chances, while they are half chances for EnVy, it's been difficult, and this has been just part of the journey for them as far as the fall major has gone.
And you have to give so much credit to G2's defense and their ability to stay calm and composed here, because a lot of teams under pressure like that against Team EnVy would panic so easily, but because they've kept their composure, they've remained calm. They are on match point and look to knock Team EnVy out of the tournament.
Hey, how many channel points do you think Orb has on this one? He's got to have a big smile on his face right now, up 2-1. Oh, a big miss! Chicago delivers a goal, but EnVy a complete blunder on defense.
And you got to wonder what happened here. We've got two players rotating back. It's Atomic. He's got to find a touch, and he can't make it happen. Another defensive whiff from Team EnVy, and that's a free one given to G2.
G2 can't be given free goals if you're EnVy. Not at this stage. You're talking about your tournament life right now. EnVy have no more lives left. They have to find a way now to not only just tie the game, but score multiple against G2, something they've struggled with all series.
And this hurts for Team EnVy. I mean, if we're looking at the trajectory of their entire fall split. In the first regional, they got top 8. The second regional, top 4. The third regional, top 2. They want to make it back to the grand finals and keep that story, that pattern going, but it might not happen against G2 if you're giving away those goals.
G2 just getting in front of every touch before EnVy can get there in the orange half. The defense has been excellent from G2.
Is that another one?
And there is another one! Chicago scores again!
It's one player that they have to beat from G2. And then you're done. It's a free net. Turbo Pulse, so he overshot the aerial. Didn't expect Chicago to go low on the shot. And just like that, a minute in, 2 goals for G2.
EnVy completely dismantled in just the first minute of Game 4. They gotta find a way to piece it back together quickly.
Space. Atomic.
A hard shot from Atomic, and what a save from Dries, and the follow-up from JNAPS is quick to keep that ball out.
And JNaps, he kept the boost too, but then here we go. That could start something. Another shot off the post, and then the pre-jump. What is going on? Finally. I'm losing my mind here, Jorby. I can't tell you how many shots I've seen from EnVy go off the post.
Oh, it skipped so nicely for Atomic and then forced G2 to hustle back. While the shot was poor, the bounce was perfect for EnVy, caused G2 to panic.
This is crazy. You have to literally take out every single defender from G2 just to get one solid shot. I mean, maybe that the first one wasn't off the post and it was a little bit more accurate, sure. You've finally relieved a little bit of the pressure, but either way, the G2 defense, it's standing tall.
EnVy were able to break through once. Now they need to do it again. Dree stuffing them in front of the box. Chicago around the corner. Atomic and Mist both coming off the backboard. There's a little bit of space for them to move downfield, but Mist just kicks it right back over to JNaps. JNaps passing for the Drees. He's got the net. It's in off the crossbar. G2 up by 2.
Another midfield pass, and this one is from JNaps. He followed it up, and JNaps has been preserving his boost like an absolute legend this game. He has been keeping every single boost pad, making sure he's efficient, and he gets another follow-up because of it, setting up Drees.
Another big goal for G2, but Atomic gets it on the kickoff, and EnVy will not go quietly.
Oh, we were talking about free goals earlier. This is one for EnVy. They get one back, and they are feeling good. And it wasn't necessarily a free one, but something you easily could have avoided, G2. The rotation doesn't come out. The cheat makes no contact, and EnVy strike.
Now this turned high scoring real quick. It's been heavily defensive. Game 4 breakout as far as goals are concerned. Chicago gonna move downfield for G2. Now EnVy, they cannot let G2 just set up shop for free. Mist has a save, but Drees there to cut it off. He's got the boost to chase, and Turbo able to get that one out. And that actually is gonna put Atomic on offense. Atomic keeping that one close. He didn't have any boost, just trying to keep control.
Here comes Drees, a lot of space. Relatively predictable pass out, but nobody was there. There's two defenders from EnVy in the same spot on defense. Somehow it works out. They're going and opting for these pre-jump saves, Jorby, instead of meeting G2 at the shot.
Up high, JNaps. Not going to be able to get to that. Drees was expecting a touch. Atomic, the last man back, and that is not the spot you want to be in if you're Atomic. He's able to make that touch, and Turbo will actually get a clear. EnVy, it could have been a tough spot on defense. Turbo getting the demo on JNaps. Here's Mist off the back wall and another defend. Turbo, one touch.
Turbo
score! Tie game!
Turbo Pulsa. He was frustrated earlier, but he has avenged himself. The double tap, and he hits it. Chicago can't make the read, and Turbo Pulsa, he's home.
Big goal for EnVy. They have struggled to find consistency on offense, but they come up with 3 big ones when they need it the most. Atomic slows it down on the 50, and Turbo pass over to Mist. That one is just a little far off. Drees can play it out, but Turbo's ready for it. Back in the corner. G2 looking for a clearance, and JNaps gets it back downfield.
A lot of space here, giving a Mist. The speed was there. Good boost usage. Maybe a follow-up. Lovely touch there from G2, and things are getting down to the nitty-gritty. This is where you start to panic, Jorby. We saw the composure get slipped up a bit from Mist earlier on. Will that happen again?
Chicago pushes that one over to Drees. Chicago with Conductor on defense. Dishing that one out over to Drees. It's gonna, they tie each other up, and that one's headed back to the orange half.
And I'd almost prefer that giant clear all the way back into your own end. You can keep the pressure going and then find the pass. Drees off the backboard. The pass into the midfield, that was ridiculous. And he turns instantly and keeps going.
He's not done. Turbo pushes it back over to the corner. G2, Chicago crashes in front. In front of the box, there's JNaps, one touch.
What a bounce.
Oh, the block from Turbo. Mist gonna get there quickly for a follow-up. Atomic missing the ball, but you see G2, Drees, he was waiting, and Chicago in midfield fought off by Atomic. Mist back over to Atomic. Back to Mist. Mist up high. Drees picks up the save. JNaps there quickly. Turbo crashes in front, and G2 hold on.
The classic EnVy and G2 defense so far, holding up. Pre-jump after pre-jump, finding the saves. 33 seconds left. If EnVy drop this game, they're out.
G2 in midfield. Big 50. Turbo, last man back. Keeping that one close. Mist trying to pull Drees off the ball, but Drees across the box. Atomic High ball for EnVy. And there's JNAPS off the ceiling. Chicago met by Atomic. Back into the corner. A fight for possession. And G2 still holding on to midfield. Chicago in front of it. Chicago on! Oh, it's on the post! Oh! G2 got the lead!
6 seconds left, and Chicago pulls this one off. The angle, the accuracy. How did that even fall in off the bounce? What is going on, Jorby?
That was the only spot on that post that's going to bounce back into the net. And they have 6 seconds left, or they're out of this tournament. Off the kickoff,
need to make a move.
Missed, dive it quickly, pass it front,
Off the
up
kickoff,
JNAPS, dunked by Turbo, up high, Atomic the shot, denied! G2 sends EnVy to the scrapyard, survive!
Turbo Pulsa sent home by that man there, Chicago, who hit that incredible shot. You can't find a spot better in the goal that you would want to hit. Top corner and down. Just watch EnVy. Look at that ball slowly rotating. The pain. It hurts so much for Turbo Pulsa. The emotions all out there on the stage. And another congratulations to G2 as they move on.
The Santa Hat Magic coming in clutch for Chicago. He had one heck of a series on both ends of the pitch. Chicago, time and again for this team, Turtle, he has been a star. And he came up big time for his team today.
Oh, man.
That was excellent work.
At first, I was thinking, you know, we saw the little banter on Twitter with Turbo Pulsa and Chicago. And I saw Turbo Pulsa get that double tap off the backboard on Chicago in defense. And I thought maybe you could screenshot that play, mid-air double tap of Turbo Pulsa hitting it on Chicago and then put the tweet next to it. And it would be, you know, pretty good. But then Chicago comes out with that banger of a shot and completely revenges that story.
And heartbreak for EnVy. Definitely not the type of performance they would have wanted. Turbo on home field just couldn't get it done. And EnVy, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board come the winter split, figure out what didn't work for them and figure out what they can do better next time if they make the major next time.
I mean, we have to question how different would this series have been if those free goals weren't given away to G2 earlier on. The misread off the backboard. You couldn't ask for anything better from G2 to get a solid shot. And then this one, that is the best goal in terms of importance so far that we have seen, in my opinion, on the land. That was ridiculous.
G2 had to scrape and fight, crawl their way through, but they make it to a crucial round 5. It doesn't get any easier from here, though. We got another matchup, another elimination match coming up. It's Vitality versus NRG. You do not want to miss that. We'll be right back.